This is going to be a quick reconstruction of my 26.33 FMC PR mean that I got at Oceanics. So for first scramble, I started on inverse, and the EO count is 6 on FB, 6 on LR, and 4 on UD. So the EO that I did was the 4 bad edges on UD are here, 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 and here. So I did R, U2, R, U, and that solves EO. And then also this is DR minus 6 edges and 4 corners. So to solve like the DR, to set up to the trigger, I did L2 to make like this bar, and then B2, U2, which makes both of like these like bars without one corner, and then it's just B, and then you're in the trigger, and the trigger is R, F2L. And then here, this is 2C3. So what I did to do the first quarter turn was D2B on inverse, and then I switched, and then you basically have to set up to like this sort of trigger where you do L prime U to L or R U to R. So to set up to that, I started with an F2 because there's U2 parity, and then L2 gets you into the trigger, and then B, D2, B prime. And then here, the way that I found a finish was that I noticed if you do R2, D2, R2, D2, you get into like this, which is like a pretty simple finish, but also this is on normal, and so whatever I end with, it'll cancel, or it'll be at the end of whatever I had on the inverse scramble, which was B prime D2. So I know if I start with a B prime and then do like the finish, which is UD D2 U prime D prime, then when I have B, now when I write out my solution, the B is going to cancel with the B on inverse, which is like which cancels 2 moves, and then also it has a D at the end, and on inverse it has a D2, so that'll also cancel 1 move. So that ended up giving me an 11 minus 3 finish, which gives 26. So for second scramble, I also started on inverse, and the EO count is on FB it's 6 bad, on LR it's 6 bad, and on UD it's 4 bad. So I decided to do UD, and the 4 bad edges are here, 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 and here. So then I did L, R2, F prime, U to solve them. And then I basically, like, after going through all my EOs, I didn't have like pretty much anything, so I just had to start nissing random EOs that I had written down, and this is one of the EOs that I nissed. So after nissing, I noticed you can do B L prime, and that gives you DR minus 4E 4C, and it's got like lots of bars. And so here it's like pretty simple to solve by just doing B2 U2 to like create this bar, and then also it's just 1 move to solve this bar, and then the E layer edges are also like in the right spots, so then you just do FR. And then this is 2C4 for HTR, and on both sides you have to do at least 2 half turns before you can do your first quarter turn. So I did it on inverse, and I did F2 R2 to set up into doing the first quarter turn, and then I did B to do the first quarter turn, and then U2 B prime, which gives 2 quarter turn 4E 4C, and it's just 1 move, and then you already have the trigger for it, which is B prime, which is B R2 U2 B. And then from here, I found if you do L2 U2, you basically like solve all the slice except these 2 edges, which I just fixed with R2 F2, R2 F2, R2, which also cancels 1 move because this is on inverse, and my last move on normal was R, so that cancels 1 move. But then for slice, the first thing that I checked was F2, R2, B, U2, and then I widened this B prime and this B. And then when you go through it, you get the 2E2E, but it's on the left instead. So then I decided to just do it and take the extra move. So for last scramble, I noticed it already looks like really good, and it's also 4 bad edges on all axes. And so I went for the this 3-move EO on normal on FB axes, where all the bad edges are here, so you can solve it with F2UF, and that also just straight away gives you DR minus 4E4C. So to solve it, I switched, and you can solve it by doing L2 to make like this bar, and then UDL2, which makes this bar, and also puts all these pieces in their right spot, so then it's just UL to DR. And then also this is 2C3 for HDR, which is a really good subset. And to do the first quarter turn, I can do 2 moves, being B2D, and that gives me 2 bad edges as well. 2 bad edges. So now all I need to do is set it up into the RU, like an RU2 R prime trigger. And to do that, I switched again, and you can set it up by doing L2 to make like this bar, F2 to connect these, and then L2 to make this bar, and then I just did UF to U prime. And then to solve from HDR, to find my finish, I switched again, and I started with a D2, which when I did HDR originally, I did B2D, so I can just change it to a D prime, so that's just like 1 move gone basically, and then B2, U2 to make like this block, and then R2, B2 to make like all this, and then it's just D2, and that gives 3E, but instead of just doing the D2, B2, I can change it into a BFF, L2, wait, no, B prime F, L2, F prime B, and that solves the whole cube. And that gave me a 25 for a 26.33 mean.